So today we're going to take a journey. Are you ready for a little bit of a journey now with these oils? Who brought their emotional aromatherapy oils with them? Oh, you are so good, you listened. I love basing everything on the premise that we are already whole, which means we are perfect as we are. And when I'm having one of my tiz moments, which is, look how fat, look how this, look how that, you know, those let's pull out the cat of nines and whip ourselves, those moments. Does anyone have any of those ever? Yeah. So when I'm having one of those, I come back to my heart with a prayer and a dose of frankincense. And I remind myself of that little quote we all know, which is, God created us in his or her image. Now, if we were created in the image of God, that means that every single one of us is absolutely magnificent, right? Because what is God? Pure unconditional love. Are you with me on this? The essence of God is pure unconditional love, which is perfection, which is infinite, which is something we can dip into and give from any time. Do we agree with that? Can I see a show of hands? Fabulous. So if we look at that and we look at, okay, so I am God's spark incarnate in a physical vessel. When I'm having a moment of anything that is not congruent with that belief right there, what am I going to do to support myself? What am I going to do to remind myself of how magnificent I am? What am I going to do to remember that a state of being in the presence of love is all that is real? So shall we look at that? Shall we explore that together? What would you say to that, Cherie?
Repeat it again, so I'm just ruminating.
So, if we were to ask ourselves, in that moment of having a conniption, to consciously come back to a moment of being and to remember who we are and our magnificence, what tool or what could you do to bring yourself back in a moment?
So, the sensory pathways that God gave you, your nose does not just exist to hold up your glasses. Your ears help you heal. There's scripture that talks about he who has ears to hear, let him hear. I see what a lot of ancient texts support this notion that when we listen and so each sensory pathway has a physical sense and a spiritual one. So let's talk about smell. You can smell something or you can aromatherapize it. That makes it. I'm looking for the right verb there.
I like that word. Let's go with it. Do we all like that word?
Yeah, so there's a difference between breathing and inhaling. There's a difference, and it's an act of nurturing. So sight, you can look at something or you can see it. So you can look at yourself in the mirror or you can see yourself. You can look at something or you can see it in your mind's eye, what you're wanting to create. So when we're talking about, I'm having that moment of, oh gosh, I'm a loser, or whatever is happening, that's what he was talking about. The oils are such a sensory grounding tool. Like you can smell, and that does not have to go to other parts of your brain for analysis. It just is. Yeah. Peppermint just is. Frankincense just is. And there's like, consider the lilies. Wow, I didn't really think I was going to go into this. Lilies just are. They toil not, neither do they strive. They just are. So consider the lilies of the field as a mechanism or analogy to your life. They have aroma, they have a presence, and we do too. So if we can train ourselves to be able to get that tool, grab it. Do you want me to go into the 3-minute thing, or do we want to wait on that?
Let's do it, yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it right now.
So if you have oil, grab it. Just choose one that calls to you. If you don't have one, come get one. So there's this whole thing that we're doing with people is very experiential. This is why we have people send samples to people first, because this does all the heavy lifting for you in terms of helping people get these tools for their own nurturing. So you have your oil. Now I want you to close your eyes, because you can just block out all distractions. This is called the 3-minute mood miracle. I don't know, I just made that up. You could call it 3-minute magnificence or whatever. So if you need to take the oil away from your nose for a while because it's too much, you can do that and just come back to it. But close your eyes, and I'm going to grab an oil. Thank you. And I want you to just inhale as much as you can, and then hold it for a few seconds. And then I want you to just take a deep exhale, as much as you can. Deflate your lungs. Just. I'm going to do that again. We're going to do it 3 times. Do it on your own pace. Okay, that's the very fast version of grounding yourself, but here's an expanded version that will create a miracle for you in shifting the way you think. If you're having a moment, like let's just take public speaking, okay? That's people's #1 fear, right? Is opening your mouth and sharing and being vulnerable that way. But what would be the opposite? If I believe that public speaking is scary, what is an opposite belief about sharing publicly? What would be another statement that is the complete opposite of that? What?
It's fun.
Oh, it's fun.
I'm confident.
Confidence with public speaking? Okay. What?
Safe.
Safe. It's safe.
That
Yes.
sounded like sex, just FYI.
I know, it really did. I'm like... had to have her translate for me. It's like, please tell me that's not what she said. Okay.
And we both just smelled passion.
By the way, there is an oil in passion that has libido. It's been studied. I don't remember which one it is. It starts with a T, I think, and I can't even read the bottle, but I think. Anyway, I'm distracting. Okay, so what you would do is you would write that down. So let's just say you have an event coming up where you're supposed to
you're
speak.
talking about the Dhamyana, aren't you?
Oh, yes,
The
yes,
Chimera.
yes.
They know this because I taught them. I spike my raw chocolates with Dhamyana.
Yeah, there's Dhamyana in there. It's good stuff. So I think if you wrote out, and I'm just throwing this out there, it is safe to speak in front of others because I love people and I love helping them. So you're coming from, like, what casts out fear? Love. So I love the people that I'm going to speak with. So you just write some statement that just resonates as like the opposite of your fear. Okay? Write it down tactily so you can see it. So after you inhale, so you inhale once, you read that statement out loud. And the reason you read it out loud is because the sound of your own voice is the most convincing to you subconsciously. So Vanessa and I could stand up here all day and say really great stuff, but you have to hear yourself say it. And that's why teaching is so powerful anyway. But that pathway of sound becomes activated on a spiritual level by you saying it. So you're looking at that. There's your sight. You're focused on that. You say it. That's your actual taste. The spiritual pathway to taste is speaking. So you're smelling the oil. You're looking. You're seeing the card or the statement. You've touched. Sense of touch is activated by you actually writing out the statement. But we could also use the oil for that as well. Because that aromatic dressing that she teaches it's like a self-anointing. It's a very strong way to activate the sense of touch on a spiritual level through nurturing. So you could put the oil on instead of just holding it in the bottle and smelling it. You could actually put it on your temples or your heart or wherever else. So you've activated now every one of your 5 physical and spiritual senses. And what's the 6th sense? feeling, intuition. So what starts to happen is after you go through that whole process, and it literally takes like 1 to 3 minutes, you are now in a vibration and in a state of presence where your body actually believes it. And this is where perception is changed in you, to where that was an old belief and now it's not that's not my experience. Now, did it just cure that forever for you? Are you still going to have fear when you want to go post? You think probably. It's a journey and a process, but I will tell you, if you take the time to do this for yourself, your world will change. Your world will change because you are playing new tapes. You are playing new tapes in your head. You are redefining the way you believe about things. Remember, perception guides biology. You're recreating the way you think and feel by taking the time to do this. And I'm sure you have your own way of doing that.
Well, no, that's perfect. So this is where the aromatic anchor comes in, right? You've all heard about me speaking about this aromatic anchor, and it's what Cherie is really talking about. As you take that deep breath in and you say that affirmation, you're breathing whatever you're breathing in. Yeah? So you had a blend or a single note, essential oil. And every time you smell that essential oil or blend, it takes you right back into that moment of empowerment, of that affirming statement. So this can be said for anything in life. Who feels here that they would love to have more energy? Who, keep your hands up if you would love to have really deep sleep and wake up feeling energized? Who would love to have a heightened mood state that maintains a certain equilibrium most day, every day? Right? Can you see how you are not an island unto yourself? You're not alone. This is the majority of the room, right?
Welcome to Earth.
Yeah, welcome to Earth. And you know what? We wouldn't still be incarnated if we had it all going down, would we? Hello. We'd be like Om Shanti Shanti up there with the ascended masters, lords and ladies, right? We really would. So, this is the deal. You have with you the most powerful tools that Mother Earth can give us. This is, and I don't say this lightly, this is God's grace in a bottle. And of course I'm holding frankincense, but it does count for all of the oils. So I'm going to teach you something else right now. The art of blending comes from a place right in here. It sits right about here. So most of you know about the heart chakra, which sits about here, and it's depicted visually as a beautiful green colour. Right? Do most of you know about that chakra? So chakras are just energy centers, believed to be energy centers within our body that actually sit, they're not actually within, they actually sit about here. Now, the upper heart, which is right here, is the unconditional heart. That's depicted as a soft rose pink or a beautiful turquoise colour. That's why the Native Americans often wear turquoise here. It keeps them in this place here, okay? Now, if you take an essential oil, take your passion. Does everyone have passion here? Or whisper if you have whisper. Take your passion and hold it over without lifting the lid. Don't even take the lid off yet. Take it over. Please don't talk while you're doing this. Just quietly take out your oils. You know, we have a tendency as humans to piss our energy away when we're getting somewhere. Let's make a commitment not to do that. Can I hear all a yes on that? Really? Because let's stay with this. This is beautiful, and you're going to receive a moment of grace right here. Take that, close your eyes, and breathe 3 times into that upper heart. 3 deep breaths. And say, I give thanks for the magnificence of who I am. I love life. I trust in life. I receive the gifts of the bounty of life with openness, with joy. I choose in this moment to return to my natural state of joy, health, vitality, tranquility, and abundance in all its forms. God wants for me to be prosperous. So I claim that now. I claim prosperity with an open heart. And I choose in this moment to receive life's blessings and God's blessing. And I choose to return home to love. I am love. Love is all there is. Now lift the lid off that bottle and breathe it in. What you've done right there is given yourself one of the most beautiful gifts you can. You've made a proclamation to return home to love, to return to your natural state, and to be who Creator and your soul intended. So say this. Does anyone have frankincense here? I should hope so. Take out the Frankie boy, and if you don't have it, just snort with the person next to you. And I want you to keep the lid off the passion and or whisper, whichever one you're using, and frankincense. Now breathe them both in. Place a drop of passion or whisper first on your wrist and rub your wrists together. And then place a drop of Frankie Boy over that spot and rub that together. Let that extend into your hands and breathe it in. And then I want you to do the same over this upper heart. The passion or whisper and frankincense, lay it over. If anyone doesn't have Frankie Boy, put your hand up and Paul's going to share. Anyone next to people with frankincense, please just share a drop. Be generous with your Frankie baby. You know, if the whole world had frankincense, I honestly believe there would be no war. No inner war, no outer war. Okay. Now, close your eyes and breathe that in. Would you like another gift? Yeah? I'm going to share something I wasn't expecting to share today. I'm trained in DNA regeneration, among other things. Marnie's going, ooh, because she's been at my retreats, she's excited. How would you like to go in and rejig the DNA a little? Would you like that? How would you like to cancel out what you believe, what you perceive has happened in your life, and return to your natural state as though it never happened? Who would like this? Should we do this? All right. So are we Frankie Boy'd up? Okay. One more Frankie Boy. You don't need anything on your laps. Both feet flat on the ground. Hands resting comfortably in your lap. Anyone with children, you may want to hold them. This is a really beautiful gift for them. Or breastfeeding them's even better while you're doing it. Closing your eyes. Take a deep breath. Feel your belly rise and your ribcage open and expand with the life force. And your exhalation, let out a There are 150 people in here. I want to hear that Take a deep breath. Beautiful. And again. We're going to extend the like a tone. Take a deep breath and exhale and just keep the cycle going 3 or 4 times. Deep breath, breathing in, toning out. One more, just because it feels so good. Now in the silence of your mind, repeat after me. I am in spirit. Just in the silence of your mind. I am in spirit. All of creation is blessed by this healing. My intention with this healing is to return to my natural state as creator and my soul intended. I go back in time. My soul knows exactly when. To that moment when somebody told me I wasn't enough. I wasn't worthy. I wasn't deserving. And in that moment, I choose my way. I choose the path of the Creator. The other people and events choose their own way. They choose their path of Creator. Our paths do not cross. I send a beam of light from my heart into infinity, and I anchor who I am right here, right now, in my returned and whole state. I anchor this into infinity. I am that I am, and what I am is magnificent. Take your hands over your nose and breathe in those oils. One more. And when you're ready, just open your eyes. That technique right there is brought to us by two incredible Russian scientists. You can Google it, DNA regeneration. Comes with numbers and all sorts of things. And it has helped people the world over. So it's a powerful, powerful gift. And even if you don't remember all the words, it's the power of intention, isn't it? It's this perception that Cherie was talking about. What you perceive, it's really interesting. And it's really important to be conscious of what your perceptions are. Because the mind doesn't know the difference between what's imagined and real. So when you see yourself as perfect and whole, and delicious and witty and abundant and prosperous and whatever it is that you hold important for you, when you see that, the more detail you give it, the more energy you give it, breathe the oils in to anchor that in. And every time you return home to those oils, i.e. lifting them out of your purse, taking a wusa moment in the bathroom, you come back to that moment. Does that make sense? Was this empowering? Taking a moment for yourself? So what I would say to you is, how many of you are committed to do something like either what Cherie just shared or what I've just shared, something like this every single day? Right? So let's take out the forgive. When we begin our journey with forgiveness, we open our heart to love and we open our mind to receive the gifts of life. So if I perceive that Cherie has done wrong by me, I can either choose to hold on to that, or I can choose to let it go. And in that moment of choice, different things can manifest. You can speak to that person and speak your truth with it, or you can imagine them in front of you, which is a bit like that Gestalt way of doing it, right? That they're seated in front of you and you're just speaking your truth. Mom, I feel really hurt by you. I really feel like you didn't love me as much as you loved my older brother. Whatever the story was, right? Now, forgiveness is an interesting thing because I believe that we truly have nothing to forgive. We truly have nothing to forgive because our soul chose to come into this incarnation for certain experiences. If this is what you believe, this is just my belief system, right? So if I've come in for a certain experience, and my experience is to be a vessel of love, to love freely, right? And to remind people that love is all that's real. So if I'm coming in with that kind of purpose, can you imagine that there might be some people out there, some souls at a soul level, that want to test that conviction? Yeah? Has anyone ever had, do you all know what your own conviction is, your own belief, your own faith? You have something in you that you just believe and it's unshakable, whatever that is, right? And you get tested, don't you? So when you get tested, choose in that moment to see it as a gift. Because the testing gives us a gift that we can unwrap. Now we can choose to unwrap it any way we like. Do you know that? You can unwrap it slowly, you can unwrap it quickly. Right? And no matter how you unwrap it, then you choose how to receive it. You choose how to receive it. And then you choose how to interpret it. And then you choose how you're going to digest it. And then you choose how you're going to manifest your experience of that in life. Are you with me? Now, that's that pivotal moment. You can either step forward and stand in your power, as in power from here, not power over anyone, and stay connected with your heart, right? So you create that bridge. And the moment that you choose to do that, guess what? You are energized. You're energized by life again because you're choosing to stand true to you. That's what staying in your power is. That's what empowerment is. It's staying the course. Staying the path of your truth. That's what frankincense does, folks. Right? That's the truth of frankincense. He will remind you over and over, without any attachment to the outcome, how magnificent you are, how wonderful you are, and that you are a being of light. That's his purpose. Right? And he will do everything he can to help align us with that again. Who has had that experience with frankincense before? Polly, put your hand up.
I just want to add about frankincense that it is the master mood oil.
Yeah.
And it magnifies the effects of every oil. So it's beautiful that we brought it in with the blends. And we're finding over and over and over again with frankincense, I'm sure you've seen this too, that what you were talking about, it's the oil of truth, I think. That the reason it magnifies the effects of the oils is it seals in the truth of our experience. Mm-hmm. So it's very, very chemically diverse, and it's so compatible with truth.
Absolutely.
And
you know,
beautiful.
It's interesting, as a psychologist, that would be the soul oil I used with my clients. No matter what they were presenting with, frankincense, it would always come back to. So he shines a light on whatever you add him to, right? He's going to add depth, he's going to add contour, he's going to take you on a journey, right? So forgiveness, when you smell that forgive, allow it to remind you that really in the biggest scheme of things, there's nothing to forgive. You're exactly where you need to be, and you just make a choice. Are you with me on that? Then you can layer it with that frankincense, and the frankincense will actually herb that for you. You'll actually feel that extend deep into the essence of who you are, right? And then guess what happens? Then you feel consoled. Because you start to remember, and you can take out your console quietly if you want, and breathe in console now. Because what console does is she lifts you, right? If you look on this beautiful wheel here, you've got your florals. But console, so frankincense is the king of the aromatherapy kingdom, right? Now, if he was to have a queen, it would actually be myrrh. Myrrh and frankincense represent the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine and help us to realign us with our inner truth. Myrrh does that brilliantly. She takes you into the sacred womb space or belly space, which counts for men as well as women. Now, console has within it which aromatherapy oil that we all love? Which queen? There is one queen in the aromatherapy kingdom. Rose. Console has rose. Now, when you work with rose, you are working with the unconditional heart. So console helps this go pop, 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 pop. Helps it to open, like that beautiful blossom that it is. Right? So you can take console and anoint yourself with her. Allow yourself to journey with her. Use her as your perfume. She's a beautiful melody of essential oils that will sing her way through your life every day, no matter how you use her. So you could be diffusing console, and if you feel like you need more joy, you can add a little bit of bergamot or wild orange to it, and then you can layer it up with some white fir. Now, when you start to work with the big trees, you're looking at oxygenation, right? So Douglas fir, white fir, open up the airways, right? So to receive love and to fully be consoled and to fully allow ourselves to enter that state of forgiveness, we need to come into an expanded state. Because when we feel someone does something to us, we're buying into a false story. Do you agree with that? No one can actually do anything to us, right? We make a choice. So when you take console in and you marry it with some white fir stands as the sentinel of the forest, and he holds true, he holds strong. So it's almost like that hand behind the back, just holding you, just going, we got this together, we'll do this together, let's journey it. And then what you feel starts to happen is you come into a place of peace. And that peace is like that sound for me when I'm at the ocean and the waves are rolling in. And you know that sound when it just hits the beach and it goes... Do you know that sound? Peace. Or watching the sun set as the full moon is rising over the ocean. Does anyone else love that? Oh, peace. So whatever it is for you, allow yourself to anchor deeply into that. Before we move on, do you want to say anything? Oh, you're so good. I was going to say if I was good, I'd have it there. I want to just speak to something in peace because I love, you all know I've taught aromatherapy a long time and used it in my practices and retreats, right, and in my food. I've never really liked other people's blends. I just haven't. But I got to say, doTERRA have got it down. They are sensational with their blends. Never mind that I absolutely love Dr. Hill and I think he's a genius. And so what I want to speak to in this moment is spearmint. The spearmint that's in this. This is the energy or the action of spearmint. Isn't that sweet? So spearmint takes you and picks you up and lifts you, helps you to rise again. Now there's clary sage in this, right? And what a lot of people don't know is that she is actually the most euphoric of all the essential oils. So some of you will say, I want to swim in a vat of that, right? So when you're using this beautiful blend of peace, you have the deep grounding and anchoring of vetiver. which is used in a lot of perfumes in the perfume industry because it's such a deep and heavy bass note that it carries on throughout the whole day. Here's like a hum, here's a constant in the blend. Or for me, I would say here's a constant om. So that's the energy of vetiver. So when you combine these with these amazing, lang-ylang, of course frankincense has to be in there. Well, he's a restorer, Alison. Of course he's got to be in there, yeah? So we take a journey. So forgive, you feel consoled, and you come to a place of peace. Just close your eyes and feel what that feels like now as you make a conscious choice to allow yourself to forgive, release, be held, and come to a place of peace. Now, ladies, place your left hand over your heart and your right hand over your belly. Gents, place your right hand over your heart and your left hand over your belly. Take a deep breath and come into the place of your heart. I want you to see before you yourself as a child. Take in how you look, maybe the expression on your face. Maybe you're picking up on how you feel as a child. Now listen to what the child's saying. I'm too fat. I'm too ugly. I'm dumb. I'm not smart enough. I can't do that. Oh, I could never be like such and such. I'm not good enough. I want to hide. I want to run. I wish I was more like whoever. I don't have enough in this life. I don't have enough brains, I don't have enough prettiness. I'm not tall enough. I'm not wonderful enough. Listen to all of the words coming out of the child's mouth that come from the place of fear. Now, look at that child who is you, and tell that child the truth of who they are. Right now, pour all you've got into that child. Help them to remember the truth of their magnificence. And now tell that child, I love you. And all the reasons why you love that child. Now beam out a smile, keeping your eyes closed. Put a big smile on your face. Imagine a mirror in front of you now. And you're seeing yourself reflected in that mirror exactly as you are. And say out loud, I love you. Now add your name to it. I love you, Vanessa. Now whisper to yourself, Or say it out loud, however you want, but you need to give it sound, all the reasons why you love you. Keep whispering or give it a voice. Don't just say it in your head. And when you're done, pull out that passion. In silence, breathe in the passion and place it over your heart. And anchor this moment in. So now we come to passion. When we come to the true state of who we are. After we've come to that place of forgiveness, felt consoled and come to a place of peace, we move into a beautiful direction. We return home to love. We return home to our truth. It's a nice place to be, isn't it? My favourite flower, and Paul's too actually, is the jasmine. And passion is infused with pure jasmine. There's some sandalwood in there as well, which we love. But what's really beautiful are the spices in this. Bringing you back to that warmth. See, for us to connect intimately with another, we need to be in this place in our heart. And trust me, I know. Whenever there's a disconnect, I'm unable to connect if I'm disconnected within me and the love I have for me. Dhamyana, which is the aphrodisiac in this, it's been used in ancient times to help increase libido, but it's also an amazing one to open the heart. So I wasn't joking when I said I infuse raw chocolate and make elixirs with this. It's actually really succulent and beautiful. She's a delicate flower. And she reminds me of the delicate nature of this heart, the fickle human heart. And just to be gentle with ourselves. Because as we come into this heart, which is the unconditional heart, this is that totally unlimited well we dive into, isn't it? This is where grace pours in. When we move into the place of who we are, and we stand before ourselves and say, I love you, I honour you. We start to dance again. When you say namaste to one another, I know a lot of you do, you hold your hands like this and you give a little bow and you say namaste. And you say it with all your heart and soul, and it's so beautiful. It actually means, I see you. That's what you're saying. So the God spark in me sees, meets, honours and greets the God spark in you. Isn't that beautiful? Let's do that for ourselves every single morning in the mirror. Create a ritual with your oils, with your passion, and layer it with frankincense to remind you of the truth of that. To come back to that place. Who would like to do this? Should we hold each other accountable? Really? It's a challenge, isn't it? So let's take that challenge and say, okay, We're in a massive collective energy here, right now. And the thoughts and feelings and emotional state of one ricochets out and affects many. And it also reflects the moods, thoughts and emotions of another. Yeah? So that's why it's so powerful when we say this healing, this return to love, blesses all of creation. Because what actually happens then is we return to our natural joyful state. And this is where cheer comes in so beautifully. This is where we are able to accept the full gift of cheer. Who loves this blend? Try this in the diffuser with frankincense, and equally the same or similar effect can be had when you use citrus bliss. Who loves citrus bliss here? So, to anchor this really deeply in, you can take a drop of balance and a drop of frankincense and massage a drop of each on the soles of your feet to start your day. Yeah? And then you take your passion and you layer it over your heart center. You can do it on your wrists, or you can anoint your wrists and behind your ears with console if you feel you need that. Coming back with that beautiful rose. Yeah? And then you take cheer. And I just love taking a drop in my hands, rubbing it in my hands, breathing it in, and then shimmying it over my clothes. And I do that with the next one as well. It's beautiful. Cheer is there to remind us to stay expanded, to be in our joy. Now, when the shit hits the fan, which happens sometimes, right? I'm sorry, but it does. It's then the ability for us to be able to deal with those challenges that come, yeah? Because they're going to come. You're still incarnated as a human. Us mere mortals experience myriad of emotions for a reason, right? Because we chose to experience. That's why we're here. Is that true? So, when something happens that can set off a tremor of chaos or mayhem in your life, or that frenetic energy that comes in so powerfully, take a sniff of cheer. I often joke and say, resistance is futile. If you don't have a wholesale account with doTERRA, you will. So you may as well do it now, because you'll only kick yourself for not doing it in this moment and waiting a year or 6 months or whatever it is. And that we have an amazing group here. We will support each other, because we're all addicted to the same thing. Joy bubbles! Returning home to love. So we do rows of oils here. Isn't that a bit yummy? Right. So you take off the lids and you do a line. Do a line. Isn't that fun? And so affordable. And do you want to hear the funny thing is? You can feed your addiction for free. All you've got to do is crack open the lids and share it with the world. Now imagine a world where everyone's doing lines, or rollerball lines, of essential oils, and people around them are going, oh my God, you smell so good, I want that.
Can I just say that that is the best way to share right there. Like, I get asked, I don't know if you guys get asked, do you ever get asked, what are you wearing, what perfume is that? I'm like, I don't deal with perfumes, that's too synthetic. Like, that opens up the whole conversation.
Ariel, this is our daughter Ariel, she does this. So conversation always comes up because someone always says, oh wow, you smell so good. And she goes, totally deadpan, she just looks at them with her big innocent eyes and she says, so are you with doTERRA? And they look at her and she goes, do you have a doTERRA wholesale account? And they say, no, what's doTERRA? And she goes, only the best essential oils on the planet. So you need to speak to my mum, I'll get her card for you, but you need to talk to her and she'll set you up with your own wholesale account and you get the oils for a great price and you get to have fun with it and you can even do it as a business. Bam! The innocence of children, right? But it's the truth. It's that simple, isn't it? Every time we withhold sharing these essential oils, we are withholding a gift, folks. You are actually putting up a block for this next generation to be fully liberated, which is their purpose in life, because they've got a big mission. And their mission is to remind everyone how powerful love is. Not only that love is all there is, but how powerful love is, and what love is going to do to turn this world on its head and change it completely. Amen to that? Seriously? This is the next generation. Every time you withhold opening that bottle and sharing, you are withholding the greatest gift we have for our babies. So think about that next time you walk into DJs or Maya and that perfume section. The lady at Estee Lauder counter, my mum is still loving Estee Lauder, can you believe it? She still wears perfumes. So I go in there and she says, my God, you smell so good, what are you wearing? Essential oils? Do you have vetiver? Yes, actually we do, the best vetiver on the planet. Fabulous, can I get some? Sure, I'll bring you some in tomorrow. Really? Because I fly out Friday. No problem at all. So yesterday Ariel and I take in the vetiver. She opens it, and this is what she does. Oh my God. She's Persian, she's so beautiful. She said, this is the best vetiver I've ever tasted. And I said, taste it. She goes, I can taste it, it's so good. Isn't that beautiful? Small, small ways that our love ripples out in the world. And these oils are a tool for that. It's glorious. It is absolutely glorious. So when we return to this state, and our hearts are so wide open now, we're ready to take on the world. Would you agree? So we're feeling rather motivated by now, right? Who procrastinates here? Who's a gunner? Okay, who's ready to embrace I am that I am? Say it. And who I am is brilliant, magnificent, amazing, and gorgeous. And when I want to do something, I do it now, baby. Hello, Motivate. An ingenious blend infused with peppermint, clementine, coriander, basil, yuzu peel, melissa leaf, rosemary and vanilla bean. Do you know that the vanilla bean psychologically keeps your heart open? It takes us back to the hearth and baking. Who still bakes here? Oh, I'm so glad. I love you all. See, this is so good. I love that our tree of love is such a foodie tree of love. Totally addicted to food. We love it. Who loves food here? I was messaging John and Noel this morning, and John's my cacao brother. He is the cacao addict, by the way, right? That you see on Insta and foodie photos everywhere. Totally bloody sensational. So not only does his stuff look amazing, it tastes amazing. So I'm like, so bro, are you bringing me any treats? Are there any leftovers? But now, because his meditation and cacao classes are so popular, there are no treats for his little sister. I'm not happy with that. You ate them all, see? Yeah, thank you. True friends. When we use Motivate, we are joyful. We are like bouncing off the walls with carefree abandon, and we're also grounded and earthed. Do you know that? You are so present when you use Motivate. And again, you can combine this with frankincense or white fir. It's really beautiful. I did Motivate and Douglas fir the other day, and it was so different. Give it a crack. Motivate and Douglas fir. The youth of Douglas fir kind of comes in and dances through with this maiden type energy and childlike joy energy, right? To be motivated in life, we need to be present to the moment. We need to be open to the gifts. So let yourself be open to all the gifts and to receive them. Hold your arms up in a big V, up to the sky, and take a deep breath and say, I am ready to receive life. I receive all of life's gifts with an open heart, pure joy, and the deepest of gratitude. I love life, and life loves me. Om Shanti Shanti. I love you too. I'm putting you on the spot. I'm like, do you want to say anything, Cherie? I really had this image of us kind of playfully dancing up on the
we don't
stage.
know what's going to come out. It's
Dance, play.
Well, it's funny because, let's go to this, frankincense is also the father oil, and myrrh is the mother oil. She may or may not have brought that up. I was kind of in and out of intoxication. But I also need to tell you one thing. When I first smelled frankincense, I did not like it at all. How many of you have, well, maybe not necessarily frankincense, but I need to take you on a different journey of when you are naturally drawn to a certain oil or blend, we're getting pretty airy-fairy here, but you need to follow me, okay? She talked about your chakras and your wheels and your energy. A lot of times illness lives in those before it manifests in your physical body. So because they kind of are outside your body, you will attract or be drawn to things that need to be healed in those energy centers, whether you're conscious of it or not. A book will show up. A trip, a training, a person, whatever, food, an oil. So sometimes when you are in a place of resisting healing something and you smell an oil that competes with that resistance, you'll hate it. I had issues with father. So when I smelled frankincense, I was like, ew. And then part of me was like, yes. It's like the angel and devil on your shoulder. I was just conflicted. So now frankincense is intoxicating to me. It's so interesting how we just peel these layers. And when you get that layer, there's another. Let me give you another story on this. So I shared this class with a dear friend of mine, not this particular class, but a mood class that I went to like 5 years ago. And she's married to a dentist, and he's very pragmatic and scientific and logical and all of those things. Great guy. They have 5 children. Well, she immediately, intuitively, just absolutely embraced the oils. It was like, oh my gosh, where have these been all my life? I need everything. So she goes home with a big kit, right? I mean, she gets her oils, and she's just diffusing them, throwing them on her kids, and her husband's like, I hate those oils. I hate every one of them. I can't stand the smell. I'm out of here. If you're gonna open those oils, I'm not gonna be able to be in the house. It was literally that bad. So she called me in tears, and she said, I know that this is a mechanism that will help bring my family to healing. And not just physically, but emotionally. And my husband hates them. So it was a huge source of conflict in their marriage. And I'm sure some of you, if you're sharing, have had something like this show up. So fast forward, well, she did it anyway. She's like, if I had to choose between the oils and you, but she did it in a very loving way. So she went through service with him, because I told her, I said, you know what? This is bringing some stuff up for him that he does not like. The oils are shifting. Daniel McDonald talks about this. They go in there and they start rearranging things. That's what the oils do, in a chemical essence level. They go in, they start rearranging. So he's like, I don't think so. So it comes out as, I hate the oils, but really what it is I'm not ready to heal. And so, because he is so structured and so logical and everything like that, they were awakening a part of him that he's not comfortable with, which is his nurturing and healing side, which he needed to have as a dentist. So fast forward 5 years. So she started, actually, let me say this. She started just giving him foot rubs, because who's going to turn down a foot rub, right? So she came from service. And he kind of broke his guard. And eventually, now this is funny, I can go out there now and see them, they live in California, And he is a completely different person. He was always a lovely person, but now he's more lovely. And his clients have noticed. He now diffuses wild orange and frankincense and he uses the On Guard in his practice. But he freely admits to me and to everyone that he was in a place of resistance. And it wasn't that the oils were yucky, it's that he had something he needed to look at. So that happens. There's an ebb and flow with the chemistry and you, that where you can naturally be drawn to something. There's certain oils that you love that just nurture you, and then there's other oils that trigger you. And Melissa was that for me. I'll just share this really quick. So my big test in life has been losing babies. I'll just give you that straight up. It's been the greatest heartache of my life. Well, you say, I have 5 children, but I've also lost 5 children. I lost my firstborn daughter full-term birth. Jeff and I had 3 children right in a row, like within 4 years. And then I wanted more, because there's some really sacred experiences in my life. I knew that I was going to have 2 more children, a boy and a girl. Beautiful. I saw them. I knew them. And I had 4 miscarriages in a row, which every time you suffer a loss that you haven't healed, it compounds that other loss, you know. So by the 4th miscarriage, I was done. And I actually, all this was happening, well, the last 2 miscarriages were happening like in my doTERRA journey. So I'm well into my 40s and I'm still trying to have babies. Well, finally I just shelved it. My doctor said, there's no way. I'm not gonna sit by and watch you still try to have babies. You're done. So that was hard for me because my soul knew I had 2 more children, but my body wasn't complying. So one night I was laying in bed trying to process this. And this is just like devastating to me. And I'm laying in bed, and for some reason, I don't even know why, I had Melissa and like 4 or 5 other oils on my nightstand, but usually I wouldn't have Melissa on my nightstand. But I kid you not, Melissa was calling to me that night. And I didn't want to nurture myself. Have you ever been in that place of apathy where you're just like, screw it, I just want to feel like crap right now. I don't want to take care of myself. But my heart was breaking to such a degree that I knew that if I didn't do something that night, that I needed an anchor, I needed a tool. And this is kind of before I was really full out teaching this stuff. So I grabbed the Melissa, and as soon as I smelled it, it smelled different to me. The tones, its whole timbre and essence just smelled really different. And I'm like, I had to look at the label. Is this really Melissa? Because usually I don't really love the smell of Melissa. But I wanted to eat it. I wanted to chew on it. I wanted to mainline it. So I put it all over. Like, I put it on my feet. I dumped it on my pillow. My husband was actually out of town, thank goodness, because it smelled like a Melissa factory. And I put it on my heart, because my heart was just so weighed down. Now, Melissa is the oil of anger. The reason I had issues with father, not just my earthly father, was because God kept taking babies away from me. That was my anger. But usually the root of anger is sadness. So I put that Melissa on and I held it, and I had the weight of the world on my shoulders. I fell asleep. I went into a deep sleep. And all I can say is that night, I smelled Melissa all through my dreams. I don't even, like, I knew that I was with people in my dreams and I was talking and stuff, but I don't remember anything vivid. All I remember is I was processing with Melissa all night long. That oil was sustaining me and helping me process. When I woke up, I had a whole fresh, new, and you probably know more about Melissa from the scientific or the vibrant essence of it, but all I knew is that was a beautiful tool for me that night. And it switched me. It totally took that life lesson and put it in a whole new vibe for me. So I did get the babies, by the way, 5 years after that. And they came very unconventional way, which it's another story. So.
They came.
They came. But I didn't birth them. They just came a different way.
Yeah, thank you. So, what I'm feeling to share with you now is aromatic dressing.
Let's do that. I'm still learning about it, so
Who aromatically dresses every day? Look, Cherie.
Huh? Isn't that great?
Ooh, I love it. They all aromatically dress. Okay, so we could probably bring this and yeah, you can pass this on.
You can hear me, right?
Do you want to put this down now?
It's better with that.
Is it? John. Oh no, that's alright. I was going to get you to come up and fix this. Okay, I need it low because I dip and rub. Cheeky, cheeky. Oh look, it's moving of its own volition. Sometimes you just have to go with the flow and do what's brought before you. So, the art of aromatic dressing is anointing oneself lovingly and joyfully and peacefully with the pure essential oils that we have. So you've all probably your different favourite blends and oils and combinations that you do. One that I teach over and over again and have taught for over the last 2 decades more is frankincense, lavender and wild orange. It's foolproof. That blend doesn't even have a name. I think it's just on my website as Vanessa's signature blend. I've taught it a long time. Yeah, Michelle Ragg calls it the goddess blend because it reminds her of that energy, which is beautiful. Yeah. So, when you're choosing your essential oils, go with your heart. Really listen to your intuition. And when you're doing that mirror practice and telling yourself how much you love you and all the reasons why you love you, or closing your eyes and seeing yourself before you, or as the child, was it easier when you saw yourself as a child to tell yourself all the reasons why you love yourself? And then you come into you as an adult, yeah? So you anoint yourself lovingly. I do this twice a day, morning and night, and I do it after a shower or bath. And I select oils for the morning, for the day, and the energy of the day that I would like to call forth. And then for the evening, I choose oils that are going to support what I have going on for that night. So if I have a class, I do oils to motivate me or cheer me. And then for bedtime, I'll then anoint myself with sleep oils. So I might layer some vetiver and cedarwood on my feet and some frankincense on my hands, so I'm falling asleep with that. And then I might rub a little bit of lavender over the pillows, yeah? So take a moment before you aromatically dress to feel what you'd like to call in. And then, now it's under this. And then you take your fractionated coconut oil. So for the new people here, this is like liquid silk. If you don't have this, you need to get this. And it remains liquid. So even in the winter you can use it. The medium fatty chains have been gently heated out. And I take my beautiful wild oils bowl. And I just pour the carry oil in there. Now 10 mils is enough for the whole body. For 10 mils, 5 drops maximum. The ratio is for every 2 mils of fractionated coconut oil, or whichever carrier oil you're using, it's 1 drop of essential oil. And if you flick to the next slide, there's some blends and different ways to use the Home Essentials kit with your free wild orange and FCO, and how to use them for aromatic dressing. There's some blends there. This is all on my site and it's all for free. So let's take some Frankie Boy, 3, and we'll take a little bit of Forgive. So we'll pretend we're just starting on that journey of forgiveness. And we do 2 drops of forgive. Yeah, babe, I think maybe because that's not being combined. The microphone stand, I mean. So you just imagine you've gotten out of the shower or bath and you're in your goddess-given or God-given gift of nakedness. And you dip, and you rub, and you bend. And in big circular motions, you rub a dub-dub. Can we do it without the mic?
You dip, and you rub, and you bend. And these ones you need to give lots, because we hold lots of tension here, so we've got to give it extra juju. And we dip, and we rub, and we bend. Oh no, hang on, we've got to tell our tush that we love our little tush. I love you, tush. You going to say it, baby? And then we give our tummy lots of love. Instead of giving ourselves all the negative messages of, oh, these muffin tops, I'm so fat, oh, look at my belly, blah, 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 blah. Thank you for bringing life into life. Thank you for nourishing me.
I love you, Mount of Venus.
Forgot that one.
And you do
And the lymphatic system doesn't have a pump of its own, so we give it lots of help, and we take care of our breasts, and we rub our breasts or men pets. And under the breast is a great entry point for essential oils. Train, man. It's duplicates, right? And we do up our chest and our throat. We dip and we rub and we bend, and this is how we get to our back in those high, out of reach places. And Vanessa loves hanging out down here, as she always tells you. And we dip and we rub, and we get our high, out of reach areas on our back. We dip and we rub. We do our arms. Taking a deep breath. Rub it over the face, the ends of your hair, the bottoms of your feet, and you're aromatically dressed.
Isn't that sweet? He's teaching aromatherapy classes now as well, because I can't be 10 of me at once, so Paul's doing them, and he's also doing men's aromatherapy workshops. And he teaches aromatic dressing, and he shows the boys how he does it. So that, my dears, is aromatic dressing. If we just took a moment every day to give ourselves a little more love, a little more nurturing, you never know, you might just inspire others to do the same. So if you all just close your eyes now. Give thanks in the way that you do for this beautiful morning, and I'm just going to read something that has stayed with me all my life and that I find deeply moving and powerful. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us most. We ask ourselves, who am I to be talented, fabulous, brilliant, and gorgeous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people will not feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. This is from Marianne Williamson in her book, A Return to Love, and based on the very powerful premise in A Course in Miracles, which is a pure reflection of life, that love is all there is. Anything that doesn't come from love comes from fear. So what do you choose? Love or fear? Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you to Cherie for shining such a beautiful light to us today, for going through that beautiful, gorgeous class that they've created. Do we love this class? It's duplicable and it's powerful and we love it. Thank you.